Hey there, Internet. Gordon J. Wallace, sales representative with Remax Real Estate Centering Brokerage in Cambridge, Ontario, Canada here. Just a quick little update for your Thursday as we move into what is traditionally a bit of a slower season for real estate as the snow falls and the holidays start and everybody starts focusing on friends and family. So obviously two big things in the news this past week, three big things in the news this past week. I almost forgot. First things first, you may have seen my post from yesterday about the breakfast meeting I attended. Mark Weisletter from realestatelawyers.ca was there giving a talk to our brokerage about a number of topics, most notably the marijuana laws and how that can affect real estate. I did publish a bit of a blog post before the law went into effect, just to kind of give my 2 cents. If you want to head over to the website, call Southern Ontario Home. You can go call Cambridge Home, call Waterloo Home, call KitchenerHome.com and find it in the market update and blog section here. Basically, now that something is legal, yay, you can do it, I guess. But just keep in mind that when you go to sell your home, anything that you do inside your home that could be considered a limiting factor, like having your 4 plants, might negatively impact the value just based on limiting the number of people that might be interested in a home like that. So just try and use some common sense when you're participating in any of the things that you're now legally allowed to do. Would be my first request for you. Second item of big news today, or rather yesterday, was the interest rate hike from the Bank of Canada. So again, I made a little post about that yesterday on the Facebook group, which if you're watching this video, more than likely you are watching it on Facebook. So the Bank of Canada raised its policy interest rate or target for the overnight rate or key interest rate, whatever they're calling it these days. This is the rate that they set as a target, and then there's plus and minus 0.25% on top of this, and those are the rates that the banks, the major banks of Canada, are allowed to sort of trade money or lend to each other and pay for to balance their books at the end of the night, which is why it used to be called the overnight rate, because at the end of the night, CIBC, Royal Bank, whoever, they have to make sure that all the money is accounted for. So why you care about this rate is because the banks, if they're getting charged a rate, they need to make a profit. So the rate they end up charging you, which they call their prime rate, is directly tied to this rate. So obviously the major banks, if they haven't already, will be raising their prime interest rates in lockstep with this. So expect that. It is predictable, so to a certain degree, not the amount of the increase, but the timing. So the Bank of Canada does this 8 times a year: January, March, April, May, July, September, October. You go to the Bank of Canada website, you can find the dates, they have the schedule, it's published. They give us plenty of heads up, which is the nice thing about what the Bank of Canada does. So why I'm fixating on this for a little bit, if you're looking at buying a home in the spring, let's say that you would like to go out and start shopping in March, and maybe you think that realistically you'll find something by end of March or beginning of April. Whatever your timeline is, you want to consider when you want to have a firm deal, and then count backwards from that 60, 90 days. The major lending institutions, and even if you go through a broker and find a lender that's not one of the big 5 banks, they typically will give you a pre-approval, which is always your first step, right? So they give you a pre-approval, and it says you're pre-approved for this amount of a mortgage with this, provided you make this down payment at this rate. And they will lock you into that rate for 60, 90 days, whatever the agreement is, okay? So get that letter as soon as you can, keeping in mind what your realistic timeline for purchasing a house is, because as the economy does better and as we're at historically low rates, and you can read some of the comments on the Facebook post, okay, about how in the 80s my stepmother's first mortgage was 18%, right? And that seems ridiculous, but that's what it was, okay? So the interest rate hasn't been above, this is the first time it's been above 1.5%, the target rate, since before the year 2000, okay, or 2010, sorry. 2010. So for those of you that are, 18 this year and 22 and entering the housing market, it's been historically low for as long as you've probably been aware of the fact that mortgages exist. So it is more than likely going to rise over the coming years, okay? And I don't want to say that as like a doom and gloom scary thing. It's still cheap money, okay? Personally, if I can get anything under 5%, that's just like, it's super cheap, okay? So don't load up yourself on too much debt, because you obviously don't want to get yourself into a situation where if it goes from 3, 4 to 8, 4 to 8, 8's still not that high as an absolute number, but relative, if your interest amounts are doubling, that would cause you some serious cash flow issues. So that being said, that's all I want to talk about with that. So just consult your bank or your mortgage provider as quickly as possible in the year if you are looking at buying at all in 2019. Third big piece of news, I guess, was the regional elections. So we got a new mayor in Cambridge, where I live personally. So thank you to Doug Craig for your years of service. I didn't always see eye to eye, but having a public office, you're under intense scrutiny, and I don't wish that job upon anybody. So yeah, just thank you for your years of service. Catherine McGarry, welcome, and I wish you luck helping lead this city of ours. As well, the regional chair position changed, so congratulations to Karen Redmond and everybody else that got elected or re-elected across. I know, but the mayor of Cambridge and the regional chair are two kind of spotlight positions, as they have been held by their incumbents for many years. And Ken Sealing, the outgoing chair, I know wasn't running, just retiring, I guess. Thank you for your years of service as well, good sir. So that being said, that's all I have today for a little bit of an update. I will owe you market stats next week. I should be able to get those out by, let's say, next Friday, just in time for my monthly newsletter. If you are not receiving my monthly newsletter, feel free again to go to the website. Just sign up literally anywhere on the website. There's a whole bunch of different places for you to do that. You can just click anything, okay? And it literally will take you to some sort of form you can fill out. I'll get your email address and get you included on that. Or you can just email me, Gordon@callcambridgehome.com or Gordon@callsouthernontariohome.com, or you can call me 226-218-0433. I want to get this published, so I'm not going to worry about throwing a bunch of fancy graphics in there. But, oh, there we go. There's all my contact information. All right. Happy Thursday, Internet. If you're going out trick-or-treating next week, be safe, wear bright colors. It's getting dark out, it's getting cold. Just be safe and have fun. All right, take care.